Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw. Time for a live Q&A. Just got back from a 8-mile hike and got some food in the oven, so I had time to do a Q&A. If any of you guys have a question, fire it up. What's going on, Dead Gorilla? What's going on, Harambe? Cincinnati loves you and misses you. So yeah, if you guys got any questions, fire them up. If I miss your question, just resend it again because things can scroll by really quickly. Yo, what's up? I'm drinking a St. Bernardus Belgian quad, one of the top rated beer quads in the world. What's going on, Florida? My sister's from Florida. She just evacuated. So how's it going? How's it going? Why aren't you watching football? Because I was just out hiking with my beautiful girlfriend, and now I got food in the oven. And thanks, man. I'm going to start trying to do a live Q&A every time, every chance to get. Question. Say that again about max effort. What was the question? Let's see. My question is, why max effort with bands? Why max effort with bands? I use resistance on bands with bench press and with deadlift sometimes, not a lot, sometimes, because I want to really challenge my triceps and challenge my lockout on bench press. And same thing on deadlifts. Sometimes, you know, after you've been doing this for 30 years, I don't really have any scientific reason why I do it. Mainly because I've been doing this for 30 years. And sometimes I just like a change. And I will say, on deadlifts, when I use bands, sometimes I want to train the deadlift heavy, and but my lower back is a little bit fatigued. So bands allow me to get a little bit of assistance, and I can pull heavy without overly taxing, putting as much stress on my lower back as I would with pulling from the floor. So push-pull legs 6 times a week going to result in better hypertrophy? No. Look, here's the thing with workouts. Guys are trying to find magic workout systems, and they'll, you know, I get the question all the time, which is a better workout system? Is this? They're trying to unlock the puzzle. It's 3 days a week, it's 4 days a week, it's this, that, and the other thing. The thing is, you got to start somewhere, and you have to evolve your training based on needs. So if you're doing barbell rows and 4 sets feels funky, do 3 sets. If you're doing barbell rows and you hate 6 to 8 rep sets, do 10 to 12 rep sets. Over the long run, it doesn't really matter what workout your system you're using. You want progressive overload, you want consistency, you want a good exercise selection, and you want patience. You got those in place. You can lift 2 days a week, 6 days a week. It doesn't really matter. All right. Did Saddam ever lift? Bro, I don't know. I'm Scottish, and I'm drinking a Belgian beer. I can't figure out the Middle East. I don't know if Saddam actually lifted. All right. Fire away, guys. Fire away. I'm going to try to do this for a half an hour. And what do you think of Play-Doh? I have no idea what that is. Play-Doh. Hey, good day from Australia. My girlfriend's from Australia. You want to come say hi? We're twinning today. We're twinning. Come on, wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. We're twinning. Look. Oh, we're twinsies.
Hello.
We're twinsies.
Good day from Australia.
Okay, David said is HIIT really better than LISS? You know, HIIT for me seems to keep me in the I mean, when I'm done with HIIT, I feel like my body's still going. So just from my experience, I like HIIT better. But at the end of the day, look, when it comes to cardio sucks. So you need to do whatever form of cardio you like doing. Don't worry about HIIT or LISS. Are you going to burn 10 more calories with HIIT? All that kind of stuff. The main thing you need to understand is that fat burning primarily comes from diet or a calorie deficit, cleaning up your diet. Cardio should be not approached for primarily fat burning. It should be approached as a tool that helps fat burning, not a primary tool, a secondary tool, but it should be used as something you do for health. I tell people diet for weight regulation, resistance training for overall health, and for functional strength, and to not be 70 years old and fall and break your hip, and then use cardio to keep your heart health and your endurance and all that kind of stuff. So it doesn't really matter. Do whatever form of cardio you like. Can I switch hack squats for hex bar deadlifts? Absolutely. Do whatever you want. I mean, after you do the big exercises, really, you guys should just be able to do whatever the heck exercises you like to do. Thoughts on high bar versus low bar squats? Hold on, I need a drink. The body, each body type is different. So when you hear guys, coaches, telling you that you should do high bar, you should do low bar, there's only one way, you need to understand that that's complete bullshit. Absolute bullshit. The best squat assistance exercise is leg press, in my opinion. So back to the question, quad exercises. A lot of guys don't focus on quad strength anymore. Okay, back to the question, low bar, high bar. It has to go with feel. I see a lot of guys get trapped in low bar feel, and then when they do squats, they almost fold, and it looks like a pathetic good morning. You have to be able to watch yourself on video, learn your body type, learn if low bar is not really working for you, and then switch to high bar. I am a high bar squatter. When I do low bar, it puts too much strain on my lower back. It just doesn't feel good. So at the end of the day, experiment with low bar and high bar. Experiment with stance width, but don't feel pressure to be locked into one specific type of squat. Listen to your body, not to some guru out there telling you there's only one way. How about knees up for bench press to help isolate? Nah, don't do that. Don't do that at all. What you're trying to do with knees up on bench is you're trying to squeeze out some mystical, magical way to unlock more chest isolation. Don't do that. Don't do that because it's overthinking. It brings too much instability in. You don't want to add that into a compound movement. Keep a compound movement a compound movement. Get strong on the big compound movement. And then if you want to do more isolation stuff, use that in your secondary movements like dumbbell bench. You can really feel a squeeze. A lot of times I superset dumbbell bench or bench press with push-ups to get a real good squeeze. And I round out with like cable crossovers or pec deck or things like that to get a really good squeeze. Because when you're using light exercises, you can't really progress in weight a lot. So I like to feel my isolation exercises, and there is some merit to the pump being a muscle builder. So don't rule it out. When you're training a muscle, whether it's full body or split, you want to train it hard and heavy. You want to train it with a reasonable amount of volume or time under tension. And you also want to go for a pump because there is some information that a pump will help with the muscle building process. All right, I need a sip from St. Bernardus, one of the top Belgian quads in the world, and thank God I had one left. I just finished a... How often do you smoke? I smoke a cigar maybe once or twice a week. My view on Westside. Westside is a very productive program. There's a lot of things we can learn from Westside. The problem is that a lot of people turn programs into religions, and with Westside, you have a lot of people over it, any type of program, not just Westside, but people will start to overthink programming when they haven't built up a quality level of strength. People that overthink programming usually are people that haven't learned that as a late beginner, early intermediate, things slow down. They will always slow down. So people start to panic and they try to tweak all their programming. Their problem is patience, patience, patience. They'll be so busy trying to switch from programs and unlock magic programs that'll speed up the strength building process when they were doing things right to begin with. So Westside is a good program. You can learn from Westside, but you need to keep your head out of your butt and understand that when it comes to strength building, patience is the key. Are flies really needed if you've done 2 compound chest exercises? That's a very good question. I say yes, and here's why. Because over the course of a week, whether you're doing a split or full body workout, you need to hit the body, hit a body part with hard and heavy, with some hard and heavy lifts, compounds, with a reasonable amount of volume and time under tension. And then once that stuff is done, you don't want to continue to overwork heavy compound movement patterns, especially when you built up a quality level of strength. So once that is done, it's good for your joints to finish off with some lighter exercises. Now people will say, do I need isolation exercises after all that stuff? Well, you don't specifically need them, but I can tell you from experience that if you do too much compound movement, you can really beat the heck out of your joints. So it's nice to come in with a pump exercise when you're done, a pump exercise. And again, I said this earlier in this Q&A, a pump, there's some science that shows that pumps actually build muscle building. Hold on, I got to get rid of this Facebook notification from Infinite Edge Intensity and Alan Roberts. 22, okay. I'm 22 and been on TRT. Okay, what's the question? You're 22 and on TRT. I don't know what the question is, so I missed it or misread it, so just let me know what your question is. I'm not going to judge anybody because when I was 22, I was drunk and on fucking acid and flunking out of college because of lifting. So y'all need to do what you need to do when you're young. I don't advise anybody doing that stuff when you're that young. But you know what? People do a lot of stupid stuff in life, and I'm not. We all do stuff. We all need to live, and we all need to learn, and I'm not advocating it. Okay, hey BHUD, Big Hairy Ugly Dude. Recommendations for failing grip strength on heavy deadlifts. Man, I've addressed this so many times. Wear straps. Wear straps. Wear straps. You don't want your grip failing on deadlifts. You don't want your grip failing on deadlifts because that's a good way to jack something up. If your grip is weak and failing on deadlifts or back work, use grips. Use VersaGrips or straps, and then train your grip work after you're done. Now, some guys will say that's idiotic. There is some indication that back strength is, there's a correlation between back strength and grip strength, meaning that if your back strength is weak, it will signal the body to release the grip. So you want to attack your back strength. But if your grip is failing on deadlifts, wear straps so you don't jack up your lower back. And then after you're done with your deadlifts, do some grip training work. All right, I got to get rid of this notification. All right. My bar position is above. I'm sorry, I couldn't read it. It's too long. So, I'm sorry. Sometimes the questions are too long and I can't read them as they're flying by. Any experience with knees in issues with high bar squats? If so, how do you deal with it? That's a discipline issue. People need to understand that their knee path during squats need to follow the path of their foot. And people that are sinking with knees in are usually very hesitant, very insecure. They need to back off the weight, learn to push their knees out when they're squatting. I have a video, a couple videos on this channel that show you how to pick up the quarter. It shows you how to naturally move your knees out when you're squatting. We call it show me your dick. That's a discipline issue, and that's something you need to back off the weight and just work on. So if your knees are coming in when you're squatting, you need to back off the weight and work on your discipline, work on moving those knees out. Examples of how to structure a balanced leg routine. Okay, good question. The problem with most modern workouts and we've swung the pendulum almost too far, is that we become so squat obsessed that we have stopped becoming quad obsessed. Now, some guys will squat, 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 and they won't build up quad size. So what this tells us is that we need to not only focus on squats, which are arguably the best exercise you can do, but we also need to work on quads. So in my opinion, when you are doing a leg routine, when you're structuring a leg routine, whether it's a full body or a split or upper lower, whatever, you need to have squats, and you also need, whoa, that one snuck up. You also need to have a quad, a big compound movement that taxes your quads. Hack squats, leg press, whatever. I do a lot of quad work, so I will do my squats, and then I do a ton of quad work. I do body weight lunges and box jumps and leg extensions and leg presses. So I do a ton of quad work. So when it comes to leg workouts, squats, a lot of quad work. And then when it comes to your hamstrings, I like 2 exercises for hamstrings during a workout. I usually do dumbbell RDLs. You can do barbell RDLs. I also like doing leg curls. You can also do glute ham raises or reverse hypers, which I do as well. So that's how I balance the leg workout. Lots of quad work, and make sure you get in a couple movements for your hamstrings, like dumbbell RDLs. I like those because you can use straps and get a better feel. Cardio in the AM and weights and PM too much. No, not at all. The big hairy ugly dude, when he was in college, would lift for an hour and a half, then go play basketball for 2 hours, and then go eat and then run for 2 hours. There's this belief that we're ultra fragile and that we're going to die, and if we do anything outside of weight training, that it's too much, and that's nonsense. I just hiked 8 miles today, and I ran 2 miles on Thursday, or a mile and a half on Thursday, and then on Friday I did a leg day. I don't worry about what is too much. I just go out and live. Can you grow in your 50s? Yeah, you can. You can grow in your 50s. You just got to have patience. You don't want to do an aggressive bulk. And you just want to focus on listening to your body. There's a lot of advice on programming, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. But the 50-year-old has special needs, and I'll be 50 next month. You need to really listen to your body and evolve your training. Use that wisdom you've developed over the years to evolve your training. Focus on getting stronger. Don't overwork compound movements. Don't do a lot of, when I say overworking compound movements, maybe start with 2 sets of bench or 2 sets of deads or 2 sets of squats, and then move on and do some more moderate compound movements and more isolation work. Any thoughts on dinosaur training? That's a good question, and nobody really talks about Brooks much anymore. Dinosaur training is all about fun, and we've lost a little bit of that in the modern era. Is it the most effective way to build muscle and strength? No, not in my opinion. Is it a fun way to challenge yourself? Yeah. I mean, once you become an intermediate, just give it a try. Just give it a try. And I don't really have a negative opinion on things because that's a more intermediate style of lifting. And once you become an intermediate, you should really try everything. Someone said thoughts on FST7. What I like about FST7 is that you're finishing off with a volume of pump work, 7 sets of 10 or whatever it is. And as I've said a couple times in this video, I believe pump work is a great way to round out a muscle building program. And if I missed your question, please post it again. I got 10 minutes left. Good assistance exercise for anterior pelvic tilt, opening up your legs. Are you talking about squatting and butt wink? Are you talking about squatting and butt wink? Because if you are, most guys, when they butt wink, they're actually sinking too low on squats to the point where their hamstrings are stretched out so low that their butt's just rounding under. So if that's your case, you need to watch your videos and just make sure you're not sinking your squats too low, because you don't get bonus points for going ass to grass, and I don't care what all they got people on the internet say. Thoughts on training real delts with every workout? The rear delts are a smaller muscle group, so they will recover generally very quickly. I think you can do rear delts 3 times a week, but I would only do them for maybe 3 to 5 sets in a workout. So you can do them 3 times a week. But look, if you want big rear delts, you have to make sure you're doing a lot of heavy rows and heavy pull downs, because the rear delts are involved with rows. So make sure you got that as a fundamental as well. Best way to increase your overhead press. I don't approach overhead press with low reps, like 3 to 5 reps. I don't like that for shoulder work. That's my opinion, and your mileage may vary. Let me get a drink. What I like for overhead press is 8 to 10 rep sets. So if your overhead press is sucking, you might want to switch to 3 to 4 to 5 sets of 10. And when you can do 10 reps on each of these sets, add a small amount of weight. So say you got 135 and you're stuck with 135 pounds on overhead press, do 3 sets of 10, and then once you can do that, add 5 pounds, and let's say your next workout you can only do 10 reps and 8 reps and 6 reps. Just try to improve 1 rep at a time. 1 rep at a time, and be patient. I don't know what you guys are talking about broccoli. Farting too much when squatting, help. Just embrace the gas. That's all I got for you. Cycling, strength, and hypertrophy. I'm sorry, I missed it. What? Cycling, strength, and hypertrophy. Cycling, strength, and hypertrophy rep ranges in a week. Look, when you're training for power building, muscle and strength, you don't really need to, you can cycle if you want, but no matter how you slice and dice things, you need some heavy weight with about the 5 to 8 rep range using compounds. This is for the average Joe. Some of us that are trying to build for strength and are late intermediates, they can go lower rep ranges, singles, doubles, triples, quads, whatever. But the average lifter needs rep ranges with compounds in 5 to 8. They need to back it up with a volume of more moderate compounds or machine exercises, and they need to back it up with pump work or finisher work. So no matter who you are, ooh, beer kicking in. No matter who you are, you need that during a week, in my opinion, unless you're a top power lifter who has a very specific program to address specific weaknesses. Did the old timers build huge through low reps and singles? Some of them might have. I don't really know. I don't study much past Doug Hepburn. Are there any good muscle building preserving cardio exercises? Cardio should not be used to preserve muscle. You don't want cardio should be used to maintain your heart and your endurance, and as a little boost for weight loss. So don't worry about cardio when it comes to muscle preservation. You can overwork. If you overwork something during cardio, you can definitely encourage the body to drop muscle mass from that area. Why no low rep overhead presses? This is just for me. And I have built a 315 pound seated front press and a 315 pound seated behind the neck press. So I've had some pretty good strength on overhead presses. I have found that my shoulders, even with good form, take a beating on low rep sets, but do not take a beating on 8 to 10 rep sets as much. And you can progress. You can build a ton of overhead press strength with rep work. I have noticed, and you may know that you may be different, but I have noticed that during overhead pressing, fatigue kicks in. There's an endurance issue with the shoulders. Like if I'm doing a German volume training with 135 pounds on the overhead press, by set 6, I can't do 4 reps. And by set 10, I'm lucky to get a couple in. The endurance isn't there. So I like challenging the shoulders with endurance because they seem to struggle with endurance. And I also don't like a lot. You can do some, but I wouldn't overkill the shoulders with heavy overhead press, single, doubles, and triples. Shrugs necessary after rack pulls. I wouldn't say so, but look, the traps respond to time under tension. Let me explain something about trap training. I love power shrugs, but if you think about the time under tension in an 8-rep set of power shrugs, it's minimal. So what I like most of all when training traps is to add in some form of time under tension. So I like to, you're getting some time under tension with shrugs, you're getting some time under tension with rack pulls or deadlifts, but I also like to add in static holds. At the end of my last deadlift set, at the end of my last rack pull set, at the end of my last shrug set. Because your traps are just trying to hold your arms on your body while you're holding this tremendous amount of weight. So, do you need to do shruggies after rack pulls? No, but I would make sure you're getting a decent amount of time under tension for your traps. All right, guys, I got 5 minutes and it's time to eat. Farmer's walks versus rack pulls, time under tension versus heavyweight. Farmer's walk is a good exercise to add in after rack pulls to increase the time under tension on your traps. That is my opinion, but they do not replace rack pulls or deadlifts. So, 4 minutes left, guys. Have you ever put on a strength seminar? No. I've thought about it, but I just don't have the time right now. Just don't have the time right now. Yeah, I gotta eat. I got bratwurst in the oven. They're sizzling right now. Bro Split's opinion, please. I know there's a lot of, I made videos about this, but look, there's a lot of people that want you to believe you can't build muscle with bro splits, and that the only factor in building muscle is that the only factor in building muscle is the frequency training and muscle protein synthesis. And those are valid things, but there are other ingredients in the muscle building mix. If you are an intermediate lifter that's built a quality amount of strength and it takes you a lot of warm-up sets, then it's a pain in the ass to use full body training. So upper-lower is a good middle ground. But at the end of the day, when you are training for 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and we're going to train for the rest of our life. People worry too much about little things like bro splits and full body workouts. Over the course of 6, 7 years, it doesn't matter. Listen to me. It doesn't matter over the course of a lifetime. Unless you are competing to be the best bodybuilder on the planet and want to maximize every single ounce of muscle over the course of the first 5 years, then you might gain an extra ounce or two of muscle by doing full bodies and frequency training over bro splits. The reason why bro splits generally get a bad rap outside of muscle protein synthesis, and I want you to listen to this, is because most of the douchewads in the gym that are doing them aren't using heavy compound movements, aren't getting a lot stronger, they have bad programming. So if a lot of the bros in the gym aren't seeing good results, it's because it's not generally because of the type of program they are using. All right, 2 minutes left, guys. I got time for another question or two. Yeah, you can turn them off and pull them out. How to get big forearms? I never worked my forearms directly, to be honest with you. I would say there are things you can do for forearms, like static holds. You can do wrist curls if you want, but wrist curls are just kind of a weak exercise for me. I'd rather do like static holds with a heavy 300-pound weight in a rack or something like that. You could do static holds. You could do the wrist roller thing. Yeah, Smokey mentioned that. Pinching. Pinching is a good way to challenge your grip. Yeah, sizzling. We got bratwurst coming out of the oven. My beautiful, wonderful girlfriend here just got my bratwurst out of the oven. She's the best girlfriend in the world. Thoughts on the Z press for overhead press? It's a good exercise. People, when it comes to overhead press, one of the beautiful things about overhead press is there's a lot of quality variations. Seated, standing, front, back, push press, all that kind of good stuff. So there's a lot of good variations. And when it comes to shoulder pressing, use whatever variation you prefer. All right, one more question, then I gotta go. You bet. Thank you, guys. I hope I was helpful. Zercher deadlift for stronger elbow is a bad idea. I don't really know what you mean by stronger elbows. The Zercher press just kills my elbow. Show us your food. It's over there sizzling. It's just bratwurst. It's just sausage. Big old juicy sausage, you know what I'm saying? Zerchers just kill my elbows, so I don't know if you just want a lot of pain, you can do it. But yeah, if you want stronger elbows, you probably need to use straps and do less direct grip work. That's killing your tendonitis. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. If I missed your question, you can submit a question. I'm going to add the link below. The link is below on every other video that I post. A reminder, guys, that I've opened up a new service, a form critique service. So I'm going to add those links below. They're on the video that I added earlier today. If you buy my book through 8 o'clock tonight or 8 o'clock tomorrow morning Eastern time, Massive Iron, my muscle building book, my power building book, or my fat loss book, Flex Calorie Dieting. If you purchase that before 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, I give you a free form critique on an exercise. So check out my video from earlier today. I'll add those links in later after I'm done eating. You buy my book, I give you a video critique of any exercise you want. So guys, hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, again, check out the link I'm going to add below. If you made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate your support. I love you guys. I appreciate your support. And this beer is going downtown. Have a great day.